The C Space Studio at CES 2024. I'm James Kotecki. And speaking of welcoming back, we're welcoming back a three-time guest now, Jeff Jury of Xperi, SVP and General Manager, Connected Car at Xperi. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
So we've chatted with you several times, and always like to ask kind of what does your brand mean now at this moment? How are you defining it and thinking about it at the beginning of the year?
Sure. So really we're doubling down as a company on entertainment technology. So we had a number of different products in the past, but really our focus going forward is a new media platform for the home and for the car. So we're looking at how to really take that technology and advance it across the entire automotive space and in the home.
So I know you are the connected car person,
Yes.
but is it going to also connect to my entertainment system in the home? So I'm watching something at home, or I want to keep listening to it in the car. Is it going to be a seamless connection between those two things?
James, I think that's where we ultimately go with it.
Yeah.
But right now the focus is really on how do you create that great new experience in the home, and how do you create that experience in the car? Because there are some differences in how you would consume entertainment in a vehicle compared to in your living room.
Sure. So as you're building out this kind of entertainment technology, where are consumers, do you think, today? Do you start with the mentality of kind of what is the consumer doing right now? What are they looking for and thinking about, and what needs do they have? So where do you see the consumer, and what needs are you looking to fill with this?
We really view this as a content-first approach. So you try to figure out what really drives the consumer and what do they really want. And with preference engines, we try to determine based on what they're listening to or watching, what they want to do next. And provide them with that type of content, which is very crucial. You think of a car, there's a lot of studies that show when people first get in the vehicle, they spend a lot of time pecking around trying to figure out what they want to participate in or consume while they're driving. If we can clean that up, we think we've created a lot of value add for the consumer in the car.
And are consumers going to be interacting with something that's branded as Xperi, or is it going to be behind the scenes?
It's more behind the scenes, because what consumers want is the content they know. We're not trying to create new content. We're trying to be a technology partner that bridges content with the vehicle or the home.
But are they going to see your logo on the screen, for example, or are you going to be the back-end technology for others who are serving it up?
It'll vary. At times they'll see DTS Auto Stage, which is the brand, but at times it'll probably be blended into the overall media platform of the car company.
So they get into the car, let's say. Paint me a picture of the vision. Everything goes well in what you're looking to do. I'm sure there'll be some challenges along the way, but you succeed. We're talking here again in a few years. What's the vision of how this looks like? Someone gets into the car and has that seamless experience.
Yeah, that experience is where it could be they want to watch a video. Maybe they want to listen to a podcast. Maybe they want to listen to radio. Whatever they want to do, it's seamless to them. They get to participate in it. They get to enjoy it, and they're excited by the fact that they get this additional content introduced to them and recommended to them that they may never have thought before. So instead of you getting in the car and maybe you're just participating in some sort of content to pass the time, it's actually a unique experience you're having.
Doesn't
so
feel as road maybe because
you go to the car to get that unique content.
Okay, you're excited to go on that commute.
You're excited to go on that commute because you're going to learn something different or participate in something you didn't get to do before.
You mentioned watching a video, and I think you and I have had this conversation in the past. Are we talking about a video that the driver is having on next to them, and is that still the idea? Maybe I'm wrong about that from our past interviews, but is the idea that the driver would have a video next to them? Is that safe? How do you do that in a safe way?
Yeah, I think that's really the great question that the industry has to resolve, and it ties in to a certain extent with autonomy, which you were just talking about previously, which is what level of autonomy will allow the driver to watch television. So right now in the back seat or in the passenger seat.
That's the real test. There's all these different metrics and like nomenclature around it, different kinds of autonomy. The TV test is the real test.
That's really the test. At the end of the day, can I watch TV while I'm driving down the road? That, from a practical consumer perspective, that's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
So how far do you think we are along there? Do you think we're getting close?
I think we're getting closer, but we're not there yet. I don't think that happens in the near term, but I think if you play this out over a couple, multiple more generations, you will get there. Autonomous technology is getting much better in order to help the driver watch out for dangerous situations. And so the trend line will definitely be, at some point in a commute or in a long drive, you will be able to watch television.
And utopia will be here, and it will certainly be here for a lot of the marketers here at C Space, right? Because people are here talking about how do they get people to see and pay attention to advertising, how do they connect people with messages that make sense for them contextually, and if that could be unlocked, if drivers could be driving around, if not drivers, but people driving around autonomously, watching television, you'd have a lot of new interesting opportunities, I imagine, not just to serve them, ads on TV like they already are, but to kind of unlock the value of cars, I suppose. And maybe I could pay for my drive and my automated Uber by watching some ads on the screen.
Right.
Different things become
possible.
possible.
It opens up an amazing number of business opportunities. And then you mentioned advertising. Advertising really becomes more information. If you're driving down the road and the ads relate to something near you or something you're going to go do anyhow, it becomes more information. Right. Not irrelevant ads.
Right, or if it knows I've been driving for a while, maybe it's time for a coffee break or stop at the gas station or whatever it might be. How much does voice navigation play into this? Because that has been personally a point of frustration for me. My vehicle supposedly does voice navigation. It does it pretty well. Sometimes my kids like to shout from the back seat and try and mess it up. But sometimes it just straight up doesn't understand what I'm saying. So how far are we there?
Voice will be crucial to this, and a lot of what we do, we don't do voice technology ourselves, but we do a lot of metadata for music and for audio that will allow you to, when you ask for some sort of content or say, hey, play me a great concert from the 70s that was also simulcast on television because they want to think back to the glory days of that music. That type of question or query with voice recognition should bring the content up. And so you don't have to be an expert at what you're looking for, you just have to give some inferences through voice and you'll get that content.
Everybody's talking about AI here at CES and C Space. AI, obviously, you can define it in different ways. Gen AI, generative AI, is the newest thing, but AI has been used for years to figure out ways of serving people content, figuring out what people are searching for, etc. How are you thinking about AI right now in the context of the technology you're building to serve people content that they want?
I think AI is, it's one of those great promises that can also do damage, right? So we look at it two ways. We think it helps with the core technology to provide a better experience, but you have to also, because we deal with a lot of content providers, how does the AI interact with their content? And where's the line between AI sort of infringing on unique content versus AI enhancing unique content? And I think that question is going to remain open for a while.
And you can use AI, though, to kind of understand, to view, to read, to listen to content, to figure it out, to collect data on it, and then figure out in your own way how to serve it to folks contextually in the car, right?
Yeah, you can. You can use it in that context, and that way it's supportive of unique content, but you don't want it to replace unique content.
Do you think that the vision that you have is in opposition to other kinds of visions or philosophies in your space? Is there something about the way that you see the future that is unique and others might really disagree with?
I don't know so much of a disagreement. It really comes back to what we talked about a moment ago, is what's the real litmus test in the car, right? And we just said, half joking, but realistic, can you watch TV in a car? And different companies have different visions of what it means to be autonomous. But to me, it's, can the consumer relax in the vehicle and do what they would do in the home while driving down the road?
Right. And so, any peeks into the home side of this? I know you're obviously focused on the car side, but as a company, since you're building this together, any peeks into the future vision for what this might mean in a smart home?
I think with the home, and it's that definition of smart, it's really to anticipate what the consumer wants and provide them with choices that delight them, that really are choices they want to see.
What about this? I'm driving home, it knows I've had a rough commute because it knows how slow I've been going on Route 40. And then I come home and it's got this relaxing music playing because it knows I need a little bit of a break
exactly.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, it anticipates your needs based on the experience you're having. That's really the ultimate.
Is there something outside your industry that especially inspires you to keep innovating and building the technology here?
I really sort of follow all that's going on with moon missions and Mars missions. And you think of the fact that the commercial industry is getting into that, and the joke used to be it's a moonshot, right? To indicate that it's something that's you're taking a flyer on the technology. But really, that whole space is so futuristic, yet becoming a reality, and it really inspires me to say, hey, what can you learn from? What can you learn from this whole new world they're going after, and how do you apply that into what we're doing here back on Earth?
And you'll be programming content for the astronauts going to Mars.
That's
right? You'll be in the capsule.
And ultimately, there'll be cars on the moon, right? And they have to consume content.
If you're not driving around the moon and listening to something cool, you're doing something wrong. Last question as a fill in the blank. 2024 will be the year of blank.
I think this will really be the year that the consumer starts interfacing with technology. It used to be, it's all technology, push the technology, all this great technology. The question is the consumer up for that yet? How do you merge with the consumer's desires and their capacity to deal with technology with all the technology that's out there? You'll see that with AI in spades.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back. Jeff Jury, Xperi, thanks so much for joining us on your third time here in the C Space Studio.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for watching. I'm your host, James Kotecki, here at CES 2024. This is the C Space Studio. More great conversations are on the way. Don't go anywhere.